A sickening stench of stagnant water and decay fills the room. Aïcha draws back with a scream. Rigid on the floor, the body of a man dead for days oozes a foul liquid. Franck sets a chrome pistol on the table and barks at her in a chilling tone. You thought 5 million was earned with a smile? You do what you were paid for, or my men throw you to the crocodiles. Welcome to the Palaver Tree, your home for captivating stories and uncovered truths. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss out on our remarkable tales. The air in Aïcha's small 2-room apartment is heavy, stifling under the tepid glow of a faded string light. Everything in this place is an illusion. Knockoff bags with flashy logos and empty perfume bottles lined up to cover the cracks in the wall. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Aïcha stares at her banking app. After rent, a wildly overpriced apartment leased for the sole purpose of projecting the image of a successful banker, her balance is pathetic. 25 years old, a precarious temp contract, and a constant crushing anxiety about tomorrow. Suddenly, a burst of laughter echoes through the wall. Mireille. Aïcha steps toward the hallway, where her neighbor, wearing a blonde wig and a bright red jumpsuit, is reeling off dizzying numbers over the phone. Stacks of cash pulled in over a single weekend, lavish gifts from powerful men. Jealousy twists Aïcha's stomach. Unable to take it anymore, Aïcha begs her neighbor, "Mireille, I can't do this anymore. Take me with you this time. Get me in on your hostessing work." Mireille savors her power and shoots back. "Aïcha, this isn't for everyone. We operate at the very top here." Then, feigning generosity, she puts a call on speaker. Aunt Faustine's voice comes through, deep, heavy, and cold. "There are no spots left this weekend." Mireille pushes. "Ma'am, please, she's my neighbor. I sent her picture." Silence falls on the line. Faustine breaks it. "The girl with the almond eyes? Fine, her looks will do, but she better not make a fool of me." Euphoria wipes away any trace of caution. Mireille shoves Aïcha into her bedroom, pulling out an emerald green satin dress and gold heels. "You look stunning, Aïcha. All eyes are going to be on you tonight. This is your moment." Staring into the mirror, dizzy off the illusion of easy wealth, Aïcha takes in her reflection. She tells herself that in a single night she'll clear all her debts. She fails to notice, caught in the angle of the glass, Mireille's calculating smile as the trap clicks shut.
The manor's golden gates swing open to reveal obscene luxury. Purple spotlights sweep across the marble facade, reflecting in a pool where the financial elite clink glasses. Snug in her green dress, Aïcha snaps selfie after selfie, posting live, unwinding with the real decision-makers. Frank steps forward, tall, shaved head, gold watch gleaming on his wrist. The leader of the circle measures her up with a heavy gaze before guiding her toward the master suite. The party atmosphere vanishes under the harsh glare of neon lights. A henchman enters, dragging a massive black transport bag. Frank lets out a cold, cynical smile. "Your rate covers a special request. A threesome, except I'll just be watching." Uneasy, Aïcha furrows her brow. Where's the third person? That's when the nightmare begins. The henchman unzips the bag. The stench of decomposition instantly fills the room. Under the point of Frank's gun, and after a terrifying phone call from Faustine ordering her to comply if she ever wants to see her family again, Aïcha is shoved into the abyss. At gunpoint, right in front of a camera mounted on a tripod, Aïcha is forced to strip off her dress. For 3 agonizing hours, she endures the unthinkable, forced into horrific, sacrilegious acts with the cold courts, while Frank watches on, amused. Her mind detaches from her body to keep from instantly slipping into madness, but deep inside, something shatters beyond repair. The gray morning light catches Aïcha, waking up on her bed, still in her crumpled green dress, soaked in the reek of a morgue. The memory hits her at once. She bolts into the shower, scrubbing her skin raw with a hard sponge until she draws blood, desperate to tear away the stubborn stain. Her phone buzzes against the sink, an incoming transfer of 5 million CFA francs, the price of her soul. Aïcha remains paralyzed in her apartment until Sunday evening. When Mireille returns, arms laden with luxury shopping bags, Aïcha kicks her door open and collapses onto her living room floor. "Mireille, what did you do to me? They forced me to, with a dead body. Why did you leave me there?" Mireille freezes, her face instantly twisting into pure contempt. "What are you talking about? Have you completely lost your mind? I just recommended you for a hostessing gig. Don't drag me into your psychotic delusions." Faced with such ruthless denial, Aïcha hyperventilates and drops to the tile. When she opens her eyes 2 days later in a hospital bed, she reaches for her phone to show the proof. Nothing. Her account has been wiped, her device wiped remotely. No selfies, no trace of the circle. The trap has sealed her in, leaving her isolated, crushed by shame, and doubting her own sanity.
This nightmare is only just beginning. Will Aïcha manage to prove the truth, or will she unravel completely? If this story has you hooked, take a quick second to like the video, subscribe to the Palaver Tree, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Haunted by panic attacks and bouts of sleepwalking where an unseen force pulls her into the middle of the hallway, Aïcha seeks refuge with Bamba, her downstairs neighbor. Athletic and gentle, Bamba takes her in without judgment, giving up his bed for her. After a week of isolation, on a stormy night, Aïcha moves closer to him, desperate for comforting human touch. Bamba pulls her into his arms, but as their bodies come together on the bed, the atmosphere abruptly shifts. A freezing chill floods the room. On the dry hardwood floor, the sound of dripping water begins to echo. A foul smell of stagnant mud and rotting flesh fills the space. Bamba freezes. What is this cold water? From the darkness under the bed, 2 ghastly pale arms reach out. Hands with blackened fingernails violently seize Bamba's shoulders. Paralyzed, Aïcha watches the spectral figure of the corpse from the suite materialize. The entity rises, grabs Bamba by the throat, and slams him brutally into the floor. The sickening thud of his skull hitting the wood echoes through the night. The entity vanishes. Aïcha rushes over to Bamba. His body is stiff, his eyes locked in terror, dead on impact. Guilt destroys her. She has become a vessel of spiritual death. Overcome with panic, she runs. The next morning, she feigns shock in front of the gathered neighbors, but the curse has already tightened its grip.
Ravaged by insomnia, Aïcha bursts into her bank branch and marches up to Mireille's desk. "Tell them the truth. Tell them what you made me do at the manor." Unshaken, Mireille plays the terrified victim. Security steps in, dragging Aïcha out into the rain. Her termination letter for gross misconduct arrives that evening, followed immediately by an eviction notice from her landlord. Desperate to escape the monster inside her, Aïcha rejects all male contact. When a former coworker approaches to comfort her on the street, an invisible force slaps him violently across the face, knocking him backward. The man flees, screaming that she's a witch. In the middle of the street, Aïcha breaks down, screaming into the void. Alerted by the scene and overwhelmed by shame, her parents signed the papers to have her involuntarily committed. In the sterile room of the asylum, her decay becomes physical. Every night, Aïcha's skin glistens with a viscous sweat. Ice-cold, foul water seeps from her pores, soaking her sheets in the stench of a morgue. Bound to her restraint bed, the horrifying truth hits her. The predators sit at the highest peaks, while the victims are isolated and branded insane.
Aïcha escapes from the hospital. Using a burner profile, under the guise of a wealthy businesswoman, she books a private appointment with Aunt Faustine at her luxury wig salon. Inside the stifling office smelling of myrrh, Faustine steps in dressed in an embroidered boo-boo, but the moment Aïcha pulls off her sunglasses and headscarf, the matron's face hardens into lethal coldness. You should be heavily sedated or 6 feet under. Aïcha drops to her knees. Tell me what they did to me. Why does everyone who touches me die? Faustine lights a cigarette. The circle isn't just looking for fresh flesh. Those men have accumulated astronomical spiritual debts. The night of the ritual, they tethered a corpse's vessel inside you to transfer their curses onto any man who touches you. You are their blood sponge. Seeing Aïcha's sheer horror, Faustine's composure cracks. Tears streak through her makeup. She pulls out a photo of a young girl. My own daughter was trapped by them a month ago. She vanished inside that manor. I only work for them, hoping to see her again. Faustine leans in close. You survived the first night. Go back under a pretext, find my daughter, and I'll give you the contact of the medicine man who knows how to sever your bond with the corpse. Realizing that Faustine is just another broken cog in this machine, Aïcha agrees to the deal.
Aïcha is about to step back into the devil's lair. Will she uncover the circle's secrets or lose her life trying? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the Palaver Tree to support us and catch the shocking conclusion to this story. Slipping past security using a stolen staff badge, Aïcha descends into the manor's sub-basement. Guided by the foul stench, she pushes open a heavy iron door and stumbles upon a nightmare. Stacked on a stainless steel cart are rotting human remains, dripping with the exact same black liquid. Overcome by a gasp of panic, Aïcha screams. Guards grab her and drag her down to a crypt lit by black candles. Waiting there are Frank and Henry, the latter famous on social media for his philanthropy work. Henry steps up and blows a sharp, bitter white powder into her face. Frank grabs her by her braids and thrusts her toward a massive mirror framed with carved symbols. Look at what you've become thanks to us. Her reflection no longer shows a 25-year-old woman. The glass reflects the image of a drowned corpse, her skin ghastly pale and dripping with foul water. Frank breaks into a twisted laugh. You are our masterpiece, Aïcha, a walking trap for souls. Every man who desires you will have his life force sucked dry by the corpse possessing you, feeding straight back into our circle to build our wealth. The guards shove her out into the night. Crushed under the weight of the horror, Aïcha realizes she is condemned to a fate far worse than death.
Hiding in the shadows of her family bedroom, Aïcha feels the end drawing near. Her heart stops beating and her limbs go numb, but her mind remains crystal clear and her voice audible. Her body has begun rotting while she is still conscious. Resigned, freed from all fear, she decides to speak out to save other girls from falling into the same abyss. Fixing her gaze on the phone camera mounted on a tripod, she records her final confession. If you are watching this video, it means I am no longer in this world. For over 20 minutes, in a calm voice, she lays everything bare. She names Frank, Henri, exposes Murray, and details the inner workings of the circle, complete with messages and proof. As the recording stops, her last breath slips away. Uploaded automatically, the video pulls in millions of views. Facing massive public outrage, Aunt Faustine turned over the network's secret ledgers to investigators. Police raid the manor, uncovering the ritual crypt and the remains.
Days later, however, news breaks that Frank and the members of the Circle fled the country on their private jets hours before the raid, refuging in a non-extradition state. Aïcha's story stands as a tragic warning. Behind the glamour of social media and the ostentatious wealth of the elite lie traps capable of consuming a person down to their very soul. Thank you for tuning in to the Palaver Tree.